is the special St. Patrick's Day show of the Patriarchs. Yeah, this is our first holiday, guys. I don't know if you realize it or not, so we got to make the most of it. It's not Christmas. It's not 4th of July. It's about leprechauns.
St. Pat's. Wore my
St.
green.
Pat's.
Yeah, you see Dan's got some green on.
Dan's kind of green.
And are out.
Well, no, it just depends because some people, when they if they have like an older television that has fine tuning issues,
it's Canadian green.
You can get green out of some of this here.
You guys look like you're dressed for Thanksgiving.
I know.
I'm hoping there'll be a feast.
Well, there's a few remaining days left of the fall-winter season, so before I put this away and trade it in for my summer wear and my Ocean Pacific clothes,
Nobody wants to see that. You in your jam shorts?
It looks good.
These
got board shorts.
I
do.
These are my broadcast friends that happen to be dads, and I'm introducing it this way because this is strange. We're actually what do they call it? Breaking through the third wall. What's that called in TV when you're actually talking to the fourth wall? I knew Nick would know that. This is the first time we're doing this, that we're actually putting this on YouTube, the show itself. Up until now, Jim has normally not had pants on, and a lot of times it's been very frightening.
It is such freedom.
Jim Burrows, tell us a little bit about your kids.
I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 awesome kids, Stefan, Blake, and our twins, Emily and Jordan.
The one that went
all
out.
our kids are in their 20s.
But Emily, by the way, if you listen to a past show, she has a thing for Jolly Ranchers that are sold out in Denver.
Yep. Lots of good candy.
Patriarchsmedia.com. Check that out. You can see the past show. To my left, then, that would be Dan Pantos.
Yep, proud father of Kaya, who's 7, and Nicholas, who's 21 months.
Very good.
Saw his kids for the first time, by the way.
Really?
Amazing.
Sweet
kids.
Describe how this went down, because I saw it on Twitter. I saw the picture. I'm like, okay, this is really creepy.
With Pete Rose?
No, this was at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
Oh. We were just walking. Actually, we were looking for shoes because Karen and I are, once we get back from our trip, our 25th anniversary trip, we got to get ready for the Geist Half Marathon. So we got to get some shoes. So we were just kind of shopping around, and I'm coming through, and I just hear somebody yelling Burrows. And I'm like, normally I'll flee.
Shoplifting or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, I'll look quickly and make sure I have nothing in my hands.
Like, these creditors are getting aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. They show up now. It's unbelievable. This is ridiculous. It's their mortgage company. Every month they want money. I don't get it. I don't understand. I paid you last month.
It was a good photo, though. And you guys, again.
No, Dan was there with
Kaya just started softball, so we had to get her softball cleats and a helmet and a ball.
Yeah.
So yet another reason to follow us, though, on Facebook and to Twitter, because occasionally it's almost like a sighting of a Sasquatch when you see us out, and we will post pictures of ourselves or with our kids or families. So follow us there as well. I want to give a big shout out to Orlean Carrick. She goes by @SnottyNoses on Twitter. @SnottyNoses in Spain is now following us.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yes.
Like
and it actually is.
Awesome.
I don't know if she is a doctor, but she's got 10,000, 100,000 followers, and she really is. It's the real deal. So @SnottyNoses, thank you.
Well, she'll
Orleans.
love.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Orleans, like still the one? Orleans?
I think it's Orlena.
Dance with
she
me.
lives in
That leads us
Spain.
into the other patriarch, Adam.
She lives in Spain. Is that what she said? She lives in Spain?
Yeah, that's what her Twitter handle says.
She's used to the running of the bull all the time, so she'll love our show.
She loves the show.
There's plenty
Constant.
of bull here. And you're right. Thank you, Dan, because we didn't want to forget the 7-foot-tall member of the Patriarchs.
More
Tallest
Sasquatch.
Man. Tallest man.
2 daughters, Ava, Sophie, and they're in New York City right now on an art trip with their school.
Oh, cool.
So I've been getting pictures via text, Instagram of them walking across the Brooklyn Bridge, and
I love it.
we went to the 9/11 memorial. So pretty cool opportunity.
Oh, wow.
For some teenagers.
That's neat. And I can't imagine a cooler place maybe besides D.C. I mean, in America to see the famous works of art. I can only imagine New York's got to be overwhelming.
MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and the Met is where they're going to go.
That's fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah, totally cool.
Very cool. So with that said, we are, I'm a soon-to-be dad. My wife, who is ready to give birth at any second. It'll probably be a few more weeks, but she really, she's trying to come up with ways, can I jog down the block? Can we have sex? I mean, she's throwing out all these ideas to say what could perhaps, bring about baby Browning sooner.
Explains the trampoline in the backyard.
Get off
really
the trampoline, honey.
Spicy food, I've heard.
I know it.
I remember that when I was pregnant.
She's willing to try anything.
When you were pregnant?
Yeah.
April 17th is the due date, so I will join these guys in a very...
I'm sorry. It can't be the 17th. That's my dad's birthday, and my dad's nuts.
I was scared for a minute. You scared me. I think I peed in my pants a little bit.
I love it.
I thought April 17th, is that the sign of the devil? I thought
there's some sort of horoscope situation here where if your son's born on the same day as Robert J. Ritz from Southern Indiana that was born on that day in 1941, there's some trouble coming.
That's a sign.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. I don't think so.
I have a brother born on April 19th, but that's okay. But this is interesting. So you got to let Jenny know. If it's that close, I don't think it will be. I think you're absolutely right about this. I know Vegas currently has the odds some end of March. But, yeah, you got to tell her.
I hope it's the 17th now. And when my dad gets back from Florida, they go down. They're snowbirds. So when he gets back, when the weather's nice,
they come back for, what, a month?
We'll have my dad on and your baby, April 17thers, and
let the two go at it
together.
I think we'll
Would
almost
you let my dad hold your baby?
Not only hold him, I think we need to name him Ritz. I think just
First name?
if it happens,
Wow,
if
Browning.
Ritz Reed Browning.
I like it.
Ritz Reed.
That's a detective somewhere.
So Caetano's out?
Caetano is out. Kaki is still in the running. That's a past show as well where we had the names, and Adam mercilessly made fun of, you called him ISIS or Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, and it was...
Mohammed.
I thought I would look to them for help with naming our child, but instead it was
Donald
rather
J. Browning. That'd be good.
Insulting. So
Ritz Maximus Browning.
past shows, you could definitely find them, patriarchsmedia.com. Also, you know what I thought would be fun, though, is, again, back to this date for a second, when baby Browning will be born, we got to come up with a grid. And I'm all about putting down money to say, if you pick the 17th and you put down $20, Dan says, nope, I think it's going to be April 1st. He's going to be April Fool's baby. Right? Is this not missing an opportunity to where you got to have a pool to say we pick the day?
The Browning bracket.
Yes.
I think we do. That's
I
a good
think
idea.
so.
You can have other people involved too. Get Nick involved, our engineer extraordinaire.
We have to get in
People
on
that
this.
live in your cul-de-sac, we can knock on their door.
Our listener from Spain can get in on this.
At Snotty Noses. At Snotty Noses, how much can we put you down for, and what date are you thinking?
Is that pesos or dollars?
I'm not sure what the transfer
Euro?
rate is.
Euro? Aren't they on the Euro?
I don't know.
Thing over there? Euro?
I do not know.
Don't they have Jerry Lewis on their money?
That's
I think they have Jerry Lewis on their money.
They do have Jerry Lewis on the
Jerry
money.
Sorry,
Lewis
I
is
don't
some
know my
famous
currency.
Comic on the, that's France.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. We'll get the grid put together because I really think
Now, do we have to be specific to a day? Are you going to give us like a 3-4 day? Like, okay, Dan says March 23rd through 27th.
No, because I think you can buy days then.
I want to do
I see what you're saying.
I want to do an over/under 6 pounds. Let's do an over.
Oh, I love that too.
I like that idea.
That's not bad. Let's get Vegas on
And
the
we
line.
got to do the weight. Got to do the weight too. Got to do the weight.
The weight 6 pounds.
No, I mean like specifically. No, you're saying over under?
I'm just saying
You want to be
over-under on it.
specific
You want
numbers.
Yeah, don't you think?
down to the gram.
I think
Is
he might take a
Ounce?
crap.
It's
and then all of a
over-unders.
sudden-
Down to the gram?
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Pesos. You threw me off with pesos.
Length too. You could do like because
Big baby.
big baby.
Yeah.
7 pounds, 4 ounces.
Yeah,
We'll work on it.
I
We'll
love
work
it.
on
This is good. Good idea. Yeah, this would be great.
Opportunity.
I think you could make some money on
all
this.
of the money goes to his college fund.
This
by the
could
way.
pay for you and Jenny's first weekend away from the baby.
Oh, that can't happen soon enough.
I've got $100 down that he leaves home before 17.
Greg,
The baby.
the 17th. Oh, is that what you're talking about? We got to clarify. Who are you talking about?
April
leaving?
17th.
That's entirely possible.
We're going to show up for the next show, and Greg's going to be,
Where is
gone.
he? What happened?
Just out of the country.
Something went wrong.
He's gone.
You're going to be in Spain with Orleans.
Spinning pesos.
This is how he subtly got this into the show. Well, I've talked about her. It's not like she's a secret.
We're now pen pals on Twitter.
Started out innocently enough.
In the news this week, this is interesting that famed baseball player Adam LaRoche, he was with the White Sox, Chicago White Sox for a while, backup first baseman. Fill in, you're the baseball guy. Who is the guy?
Well, I'm a sports guy, but I have to admit I'm not really a baseball guy.
Well, and here's the thing about baseball, and a lot of fans, even a casual fan, will know in baseball because there's so much money. It's the same with football. There's a lot of these people that, unless you're a follower, the name will be like, because it's not it's not like the Derek Jeters or the superstars. But yet this guy makes mega money.
He does.
There's just that kind of money to go around.
He's walking away from $13 million. He's doing this because the team said, you might want to dial it back a little bit and not bring your teenage son to the clubhouse every day. Not once a week, not on occasional game, I guess he's bringing his 14-year-old son with him every day. And so he basically said he's retiring. They claim that it was for personal reasons, but you dig a little bit deeper. Even the general manager said, all we were asking him to do was just dial it back a little bit. It seems odd that you would be able to bring...
I don't want to cast a stone, but he's 14?
Yes.
This is spring training, though. This wasn't like...
Shouldn't he be in school?
That's exactly what I asked.
He's homeschooled.
Oh, is he?
Supposedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a combination of homeschooling and that type of thing. So
what do we do at the beginning of the show? Mute the phone.
No, that was him. That's him calling right now.
Could you tell Orleans not to call during the show?
Adam, we're going to patch you through here and put your teenage son on if you would.
That's probably the kid.
LaRoche.
Leave my dad alone.
Well, gut reaction for me is right. I side with the management of the team. I mean, you can't bring your kid to work every day.
Well, the original plan that was given the blessing by Robin Ventura, who, if anybody knows White Sox, is a famous ball player, and he said, "Fine, bring him." The players love the kid. He doesn't get in the way. He respects their space. It's not like he's hounding them for, "Hey, can you sign this for my buddy?" I mean, and the kid plays ball. He works with the players. If they want somebody to play catch with, he shag balls with, that type of thing. So it's not like the kid's annoying anybody. But I think management finally kind of said, "Yeah, let's kind of dial it back just a little bit."
But if he's not annoying anybody, what's
right?
I don't understand what the problem is.
I don't care if every single person loved that kid. If management says so, it's so.
Right, but where does it go from it's okay to now it's not okay, is what I'm asking.
Well, because it was never, it just piled up and piled on and piled on. And it one day became 90 days. And now on the 91st day, the boss says, "All right, get that kid out of here."
But think about any other situation.
Makes sense.
When would we bring our kids to work? Dan, when would you bring your daughter with you to work other than bring your kid to work day? And then all of a sudden you go, "You know what? I'm going to bring her tomorrow because we're homeschooling her. You know what? She's really a fun little assistant. She knows how to work the copy machine. We're gonna have her work every day." It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And businesses typically have rules regarding that. I know a couple of times with radio, a couple of my kids have come in, but on a day just to kind of sit in, and they'll sit in with the producer. They won't actually be in the studio, but just a day. It's not a week, a month. That type of thing.
No, it was a unique situation. And by the way, we posted this on our Facebook page, again, Patriarchs Media. Jim, you kind of went back and forth with, and go ahead and read. Who was the guy that commented?
Mark Deedy commented on our Facebook page, and his kind of goes to a little bit to what Adam commented about. It was real quick. He just said, "Who else can take their kids to work every day?" So I'm guessing the overwhelming majority of people, yes, that's true. But I think this is a different situation, only from the standpoint that the team had agreed to it. They said it was okay. They went to modify it, and I understand, and I completely have no problem with that, because here was my response. I said, this was an accommodation made for LaRoche while at spring training. The White Sox had every right to modify, but LaRoche had every right to put being a dad first. How many dads would forego $13 million for the love of their kid? So let's just remember that. He left $13 million on the table. Then I also said, or at least look for a middle ground. That's what I thought would have made some sense. Okay, yeah, my kid will come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's it. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. A few days a week. Spring training, that works for me. And then Mark replied back. He said, how many dads have already made $71 million? So obviously, LaRoche has done pretty well up to that point.
Can walk away.
To walk away from $13 million, obviously, he's made enough where he can walk away from $13 million. So be it. More power to him. But you still have to respect him, I think, to do that. To say, hey, this is my kid. You're forcing me into this situation. Then it's time for me to move on. Maybe there's other things going on. I understand that. But you can't dismiss the fact he said no to $13 million.
He said no to $13 million, but take that away for a second, because it's back to Adam's point. It almost seems childish when I read that for him to say, oh, I can't have my kid here? Well, I quit the team. You said it best, and it can be any employer. If they go, okay, we're paying you to work, because he is working for the baseball team. Mm-hmm. These are the rules. If he wanted to come riding in on a horse every day that he owns, and all the teammates love the horse, are they going to allow it? They go, you've been bringing your horse to work every day. This is, you got a job to do. I don't like that. And I think it's the typical all-star player, whether it's basketball, baseball, or whatever. Oh, you're not going to let me do that? I quit. Mm-hmm. Who would else do that? We would never do that in our jobs.
No. And we're older than he is. We're Generation X. He's a millennial. And that's how millennials think. Millionaire or not, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Right. I'd love to have your take.
I'll go find
at the
another
Facebook
job.
page on the Patriarchs too. So,
what's that again?
I'd love to have your take on this too at the Facebook page. The Patriarchs.
Absolutely. Anytime when we post these stories, please do, and we appreciate
because it seems pretty 50-50 between you and Mark.
Well, it wasn't, but he was kind of getting into the money aspect of it, and I don't get into that. I mean, Adam obviously, is very fortunate enough to have the talents to play pro baseball, and to be good enough to earn that type of salary. I don't begrudge anybody that. If you're good at what you do and you work hard for it, I don't care if you make $1 billion, you've earned it. Have at it. I just have to separate the two stories. I completely agree with the business aspect of it and the reality of the world we all live in. None of us could do this. We'd love to. It'd be great. Obviously for a lot of people that have little kids, sometimes work is great because you get to go to work. The little kids are at school. They're at home. You get a bit of a breather. So it's kind of a mixed blessing on that part. But nobody gets that opportunity unless maybe your business has a daycare on the first floor and you can bring your kid to that for a few years.
I say we experiment, though. This is a prime opportunity. Now, my regular day-to-day job, I host a morning show, 104.5 WJJK here in Indianapolis. But when baby Browning is born, I'm going to bring him to work every day. I want to see how long I can get away with it.
One day.
I think I can get away longer because I'm just going to hide him like a filing cabinet.
Stink up the studio.
Stink up the studio. But see, I could put him different places or have maybe some of the salespeople say, hey, would you just walk him around a little bit?
Smells. Have you seen the other people that work there? That's already.
Take the diaper genie to work with you too.
Stinky.
He could do traffic reports.
There you go.
I mean, he's qualified. Right. He's got a voice box.
Now remember, we've done so we can make comments about traffic.
He can't read and can't enunciate.
Yeah,
perfect for traffic.
And he can make up street names.
Gian Road.
There's not. I would argue there's not a professional athlete in the 4 major sports that thinks it's okay to bring their kid to work every day.
Every day.
Not every day, but most of them probably
not once a week.
But you're right, not every day.
Only the head coach. I worked with Florida State football, and Jimbo Fisher had his 15-year-old son there. He's the head coach. You're the boss. When you're the boss, you can do whatever you want.
Probably working, probably doing a lot of.
And he was
hustling, doing this, that, and I'm sure
stats
he was learning.
and statistics and.
Now, keep in mind, this isn't quite the same situation, but that's how Jimmy Irsay started with the Colts. He started at the very bottom rung. He was equipment manager. He was doing the dirty work. His dad made him do. I know his dad was the 100 millionaire, but my point is that it's not unusual. But I think this situation, just a regular guy, regular kid coming in, definitely is. But I just think it's cool that he did say no to $13 million. I can still separate it and think I think that's pretty awesome.
On that note, again, as Dan pointed it out, definitely give us your thoughts, patriarchsmedia.com. There, you can actually see some of our blogs and hear past shows, but at the same time, we do have a contact section, so you can send us comments, social media as well with Facebook and Twitter.
Dan and Adam, have you ever had to forego a gig or something yet for the kids?
Oh, yeah. Maybe one of the biggest opportunities that I ever could have had, I passed up to be with my kids. And it was when I first started working with athletic departments, I got an offer to go speak with the Green Bay Packers.
I'm a Bears fan.
And this was the year after they won the Super Bowl. I think they won it in like 2011 or 12. So whatever year was right after that Super Bowl win is when they asked me to come in to host their life skills seminar, is what they call it, and talk about social media responsibility and a night out and drinking and awareness and social awareness, just knowing where you are in a bar, who's there, where's the security cameras, where's the bouncers, where the drunk, crazy women that could try to take advantage of you because you're a millionaire and you've got a target on your back. So that's the kind of stuff we talk about. And I was going to go do the Green Bay Packers, and they wanted me on October 31st.
Halloween.
Wow.
And I'd say they're 17 and 13 now. Let's say it was 13 and 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't miss Halloween because my 13-year-old, 13's a big number for Halloween because that's like the last year they actually enjoy trick-or-treating with their dad. A little bit. They still want to go with their friends, but they'll still go with your 14. They're gone on Halloween. They're egging.
Toilet paper.
They're breaking windows. They're soaping windows. They're spray painting. No, but 13 and then 9, I'm not going to, I just knew I've only got a few Halloweens left with these little kids to go trick-or-treating, so I turned them down.
Oof.
And that was a tough one.
You made the right call.
It was tough.
You made the right call.
As a dad, it was a great call. Yeah. I don't regret it at all.
Dan?
I think my biggest thing was getting out of radio full time because of Kaya. I wasn't going to be able to move from market to market, and that happens a lot in the radio industry. You at a market and you eventually go somewhere else. I just couldn't do that, so my roots are planted here. I don't regret doing it at all.
And with Jim, professional comedian,
I left the road. I mean, I wasn't doing the road anymore because honestly, I worked with so many guys. I remember we would sit around after the show and be back at the condo or the hotel. We'd all get together, till Lord knows when before we called it a night. We're all sitting around, and so many of them would be making phone calls. Oh, I'm sorry, I wish I could have been there. Oh, really? How cool was that? How fun? And this is before I had kids, and I'm thinking that's not good. There's nothing worth it. There's nothing on the planet that's worth not being there for that. And I had really just one instance where I had to make that choice, and it was crazy because I think this is around almost the same time Adam and I were working together for Metro Networks.
As traffic reporters.
Which my baby could do.
So you can imagine they were proud to have the two superstars of traffic together in the same room along with the other illustrious crew that was there at that time. But I was still auditioning, still doing a lot of corporate work and one-nighters, and I got the part of the radio broadcaster in the movie Blue Chips, which filmed up in Frankfurt at the Frankfurt Gym. And I went up there and they said, yeah, we'll give it to you, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, this is great. I'll get to meet Nick Nolte, Ed O'Neill, from Married with Children and all this stuff. But they came back to me with the money and I'm like, I couldn't do it.
It was stupid.
Ridiculous. You'd think, but just because I was non-union and, just for this, it was a one-day shoot.
Right.
So it's like, no, you know what? You got to put that on the back burner. It would have been a great thing. It would have been awesome to meet these guys. And I think the director was the guy that did The Exorcist, ironically enough, making a basketball film. I think Blue Chips is kind of like after Hoosiers. It's kind of like that second basketball movie that people talk about being filmed in Indiana. But yeah, there was nothing worth. And it's great because it's automatic. You didn't even bat an eye, did you, Adam? I mean, when it came to the decision, you knew, no, I just can't. I can't do it. It's not worth it. It just, there's nothing that could be above it at all because you don't get that back ever. So you'll get there. You'll have it.
Well, and I was getting ready to say, I'm almost to that point in that getting ready to take some time off with Jenny. She has maternity leave, and so she actually has probably 3 months, whereas I planned on taking a week's vacation. And I'd already talked to my boss. He goes, that's cool. The more Jenny and I talk about it, I said, wait a minute here.
Do you not have paternity leave?
Well, that's what I looked into, and I said, I want to take some time off.
Absolutely.
But think again, this as a broadcaster, for us to be gone for a long stretch of time, there are so many factors that go into it, that sales is involved, if there are endorsements that we're doing, if there are regular things that are happening, you can only be away for certain periods of time, and it does make sense. And so that's kind of what I've been struggling with. And I was running some numbers in my head, and I thought, I'm going to take 2 weeks off at least. And then I thought, what if I come back to work for a couple of weeks and then take another week off? But I was kind of in that mode to where I'm thinking, I don't want to miss out those first couple of months because I'm working, or because, I think, okay, I got to make this money off of this, this, and this. Those are important, but at the end of the day,
there's a lot of firsts you don't want to miss out on.
That's what I mean.
Firsts.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean.
What about doing the show from the cozy comfort of your? You got a nice studio as is, but I know it takes a lot more than that to make it happen. And there are people that do that.
Do what I did. Do it from the crib. I could fit in mine.
That would be a great show.
I'll run that past the bosses.
I'm guessing this isn't going to fly. This isn't going to work.
See the look on their face, like, why are you in my office?
Yeah, exactly. Again,
go.
Is this going to cost us, Greg? Okay.
So no, but you guys, you make a good point, and you're right. I think it's going to start happening to me where, it's already happened. Where you're seeing us record the show, this is my dining room, and it's actually worked out very well because when we do the podcast, you have no idea where we were at, for that matter. Now, all of a sudden, with the baby coming, I remember Jenny, my wife, the other night, she said, and she was in that one of those bad days, and so I'm the spear catcher. And I could do nothing right. And so I just remember her, I said, Thursday we're doing the show. And she, when are you guys finding a new place to do that? Ooh. And it was just even, you could tell the tone. It was like, she loves these three. She loves Nick. She loves that this show is doing well. And she knows the passion is there to do it. But she makes a good point. It's like, okay, we're going to have a baby. So we're not going to have these guys around our dining room table, and baby. Okay, the baby's just now asleep.
Well, if we brought cards and played poker and just called it a poker night.
Or we could all assume roles. I could be Ted Danson. You could be Steve Guttenberg. Who was the other in the movie 3 Men and a Baby?
Who was the third man?
Yeah, who was the third man? Isn't that terrible? Obviously didn't make an impact on us.
I'll be the baby. Evidently, that's the height requirement that I can cover.
That'll work.
Ted Danson.
They actually still make Pampers that'll fit you.
Oh, Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Yeah.
Tom Selleck. How did I forget Tom
Other dad,
Selleck?
Could you forget Tom
Oh, my God.
Other dad movies for $1,000, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, we're in trouble, aren't we?
No, but on a past show, Adam had the idea. He says, let's do a library show to where the whole time it's going to be right.
I still think that's a great idea.
Well, we could do that if the baby's upstairs and the whole time it's okay. So he did poop this week, and
when Jim says something really funny, we'll go,
But we have to find an older grandmotherly looking woman that could stand behind us like with a ruler, just so she can pounce any time if we just get above a certain decibel level.
No, I think we go the Jonathan Winters route, and we dress you up as the old woman. And yes, no, are you kidding?
Perfect.
Wow. No, he looks like an old woman.
It's our own Mrs. Doubtfire.
No, right? No, I mean, as a
I'm going to agree with you on that.
What are you talking about? No, I'm saying you put a dress on him. Jonathan Winters.
Got to lay off the
Winters
bourbon.
was
I
one
mean,
of
really.
the funniest old women dressed up.
No.
Why
you
can't
can
you
have
own
my
it?
friend, my buddy, Artie.
Artie.
Artie would be perfect for it.
He used to do a character, right? That was the old woman.
He does a lot of characters.
Okay, so there's Artie. He's our
great
guy.
at it. He'd love to do that. Sure.
Did you notice how quick? I want to roll this tape back, though. I want to see your face when I said he looks like an old woman, and then Adam's face.
And Adam, we're looking at each other like, what are you drinking?
And then you asked him to agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
But here's what's
You
funny.
look like an old woman.
We need to
Greg, you look like a pervert I saw in the park the other day.
That's a slight difference. There's a little difference between the two.
I don't know.
If I'm given the choice, I want to be the grandma, not the pervert.
It's going to the extreme, though. It's like, are you kidding? I look like Mrs. Doubtfire. Well, hello.
That wasn't bad.
Do you want me to agree with you?
That was impressive.
We're going to eventually get to the point.
Show's off the tracks, Greg. Bring her back, baby.
We're gonna get to the point where before every show we take about 5 minutes just to do some housekeeping, and then when we're ready to go, Dan, who always derails it?
Oh, that's our Jim.
Adam, what does he normally
every
say?
time?
What does he normally say to derail it? And you brought it up, and it's hilarious.
He'll ask you how your day was, or how your last trip was, or where you've been, and he'll ask you a question that requires a 5-minute answer. 2 seconds before you're ready to start.
And we're ready to go live. Nick is like, okay,
the fact
3,
they care.
2. On that note, switching gears, a new segment we have called Dad Vice. Adam, I'm switching. That's
pretty cool.
You thought that was power?
Is that the new Patriarchs superhero thing?
By the way, we're at patriarchsmedia.com.
No, 'cause
Check us out on
what's his
Facebook.
face?
The
Cam Newton
Patriarchs.
does the what do you call it?
They're in their own world right now.
So what is this?
It's time.
I like it.
It's time for Dad Vice. This is a new
Do you want
segment.
me to leave?
You're very close, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Time out. Get in the corner.
Dad Vice.
I've got some dad advice for the Girl Scouts.
Okay.
And this came top of mind because the last show we were talking about father-daughter dance. Dan went on one recently. I've been on many of them. Those are usually centered around brownies, Girl Scouts activities in the spring. And here we are in the spring, and the Girl Scouts' big push are the Girl Scout cookies. Mm-hmm. I love them. You guys love them.
Love them.
Tag-alongs.
You got to love them.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Well, my issue is, and I've always brought this up with my kids, and they're like, "You're so right, Dad." And I want to bring this up with you guys. They sell Girl Scout cookies. I don't know exactly what the start date is and the end date, but in my world, it coincides exactly with Lent. I'm Catholic, and there are, in America, 300 million people, 100 million Catholics, and out of 100 million Catholics, I have to guess at least 40 million of us give up sweets for Lent. Mm-hmm. So of all the entire year where they could sell cookies to Americans, they pick the 140-day period where 40 million people give up sweets for Lent.
Well, at least they have a good shelf life, so they'll still be there after Lent.
Yeah, but how many people do that? They throw in the freezer and leave them.
I don't think like that.
They don't last that
if I
long.
want,
absolutely,
you can. But
Thin Mints in a freezer will last
no,
forever.
they're good. But my gosh, man, usually you tear through them pretty fast.
But to Adam's point, it does make you. I would love to know What's the rhyme to reason? Why
For
do
that
they
time of
choose?
year when you think
If
about
they
it.
started
There's a reason.
selling Girl Scout cookies on the Monday after Easter, I think their sales would go up 30%.
We
That's
recently
my
had
dad. That's my dad advice.
the director at of the Central Indiana Girl Scouts Bureau. She came into WJJK Studios to promote the Girl Scout cookies launch. Super nice gal. So I really want to email her tomorrow and say,
Yeah.
hey, I got a question for
So
you.
has it always been that time frame?
Yeah, I mean,
As far back as you know,
Yeah.
it's always been.
I guess
So
I never
like
paid attention.
mid-
I'm not Catholic, so I never
So mid-spring.
paid attention to that.
Imagine that show if I were hosting that show and the Girl Scouts came on. Here's Thin Mints and Do-Si Do's and trefoils, and I'd said no, none for me, thanks.
I can't even.
I gave up sweets for Lent.
So is it literally? Does it literally match the 40 days?
It's
almost.
yeah,
Pretty much. It's a big enough chunk of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That isn't. It's interesting because you're right. It would make a huge difference.
I think it's a big chunk of
And
their
you know what? It would be
sales.
great is if at Mass on Sunday, the priest would have cases of them like Wonka bars, and you would have the Girl Scout cookies. As soon as Mass ends, it's like all
Free
hands
for
on
all.
deck. So instead of you go up for communion, but at the end you go up for a cookie.
I thought you were
At the
going
end
to
of
say
it.
that though instead of the wafer. The
Oh, well, no, yeah,
communion
to
would be the
wafer,
Thin
right?
Mint.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
see, that'd be good.
Tag along.
Yeah, that's a little sacrilegious.
Yeah, I
Greg.
said I didn't want to be sacrilegious. That's okay.
You know,
That's
Yeah,
not
the
sacrilegious.
old
call-
woman in me didn't want to be
Yeah.
sacrilegious.
I'm not going to be part of that podcast.
Oh no, 'cause
We're
you-
leaving now.
The Lord is watching my every movement.
You've always taken the high road. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot who I was
I
talking
am a good
to.
Catholic boy. I
Oh
give
my
up sweets for
gosh.
Lent, and I've never sinned.
Do you always give up sweets like every year?
Oh my! Is the show done? Because that really should be the end of it
Well,
right there.
and the fact that it was actually on video, I think we can now bring.
So
this
every
back.
year you give
Well, I
up
do
sweets
believe
for
Nick
Lent.
has
You don't,
found his
like,
teas.
do something different.
Well, I give up. It's what I call my Catholic diet. So I gained some weight over the winter with the holidays and football season.
Don't we
and
all?
Okay.
So spring comes and I give up all sweets. I give up fried foods and I give up fast food, and that's my Catholic diet. I'll lose about 15 pounds over Lent, and that's not very sacrificial of me because I actually have a selfish reason to give that stuff up. It's my Catholic diet. I'll lose some weight before bikini season. So I also give up Diet Coke.
You got that. I just had
Which-
that visual.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, I love Diet Coke. I'm addicted to it. I drink it all the time, and I give it up just because I love it so much, and I want to make a little.
But
bit of
every year you
sacrifice.
give up sweets. You don't like
Yeah.
jump to something else. So my daughter's doing this.
Yeah, that's just.
I guess she's just figuring
that's the same
out.
thing.
That's a good thing.
Now,
though.
some
I mean, I-
Catholics,
So
there
I
was a
didn't
big
know.
push a couple years ago. Everybody gives up something. Some Catholics, instead of giving up something, they add something. So some Catholics, like this would be so hard to do. They'll try to.
Pretty
go
sure
to,
alcohol
They'll
is
go to
already there.
mass every day. For
Really?
40 days. They go to mass every day. So, or they'll take 12% of each day's pay and give it to a charity. Or they do something.
wow. That's a neat
that.
idea.
Instead of giving
Yeah,
something
I like
up,
it.
they add something to their day for 40 days in a row.
Oh wow.
It's a
Different look at
real
communion.
interesting way to look at it because you're usually thinking of it as a sacrifice, not adding something into that. That's cool. It's a neat idea.
Cool. We'll
So
start
is
that.
this going to be a book? The Adam Ritz Catholic
Catholic
Diet?
Diet?
Catholic
I
The
like
book
that.
is going to be on how the general sales team at Girl Scouts International
they've gotta
are a
pay
bunch of
attention to you.
idiots for selling cookies during the one time a year where
Maybe they sell
half the
fish.
country gives up sweets.
I'd be stunned if somebody hasn't already called him on this, Adam. I mean, that's just too.
We'll find out.
too
We're going to
easy.
report back. We're going to report back and find out what's the thinking behind that with the sales of the Girl Scout cookies. That's going to take care of things for today's show, but
was fast.
you definitely got to check us
getting
out.
faster and faster.
It does.
And look
It
for
really
Adam
does.
a week from Sunday at Golden Corral. He'll be there being this. Yeah.
He's going to be
Just
picking out.
bloated.
What
It'll be
is-
like the meaning of life with
picking
Monty
out-
I'm
Python?
going.
Facebook, check us out, Patriarchs Media. Twitter, check us out on our website, patriarchsmedia.com. You can hear past shows, and we'd love to hear from you. For Dan Pantos, Adam Ritz, Mrs. Doubtfire, and thank you to Nick Lopez for
You're my hero. You know
always
that, don't you?
taking care of us. We are the Patriarchs.